Apparently Bernie Sanders won in Nevada by a landslide, of all things. Hi everybody, that's not what we're going to be talking about tonight. I hope everyone's having a good night and a good weekend. We are going to be playing Anthem. It was exactly 1 year ago when Anthem came out last year. It's been 12 months. It hasn't been the smoothest 12 months that you could imagine for a launch of an online game, but that's how it goes. Apparently, it's going to be getting Anthem 2.0 is going to be coming up soon. It's going to be the big reboot, the big refresh. This is what some people sort of anticipated all along. I'm sure Bioware would have preferred to avoid it, but, you know, this is what we're getting. We're going to get a reboot and a refresh. But for today, it's been a while since I played Anthem. It's probably been, if I'm being totally honest, probably a good 6 months since I've actually started up the game. I know that's terrible for a guy who mainly talks about Bioware games. But yeah, I wanted to kind of see what is the state of Anthem for anyone who just happens to stumble into this stream at any point, who isn't a regular viewer on the channel. I'm not like a regular Anthem player, so this is really not the perspective of a person who plays Anthem very often, but you'll get to hear me give my thoughts on what I think now that we're a year in, and kind of the perspective of someone trying to touch base with the game again. Burn the books. This is a very, first of all, hello to everyone. Thank you for being here. This is a very weird notification to get at 35 past midnight, I'm assuming. That's what that is. In the morning. Well, it's about, 6:30 here where I'm at. And yeah, it's time to play some Anthem. So let me go ahead and start the game up. I was kind of moving around a little bit earlier and just kind of seeing what's new, and I gotta be honest, it doesn't really feel like there's a lot new. It kind of feels like Christmas lights and time trials is really the only thing that I noticed right off the bat. And apparently I'm interrupting a game of Cards Against Humanity, which, that disappoints me because I love Cards Against Humanity. I kind of wish I was there drinking and playing with you. Hopefully you're drinking, or hopefully not. I don't know. That's not for everybody, but when I play Cards Against Humanity with my friends, normally we drink, and so that's pretty fun. Haha. Everyone let me know how the audio levels are, and we can tweak that as necessary. Also, I'd kind of just love to know what you all have going on, because to be quite honest, I don't know how much I'm going to have to say about Anthem. We were planning to do a kind of 1 year retrospective, in which case we'll kind of look back at everything, including community reaction, so that'll be an episode of Split the Veil coming up. Don't hold me to this relatively soon. But yeah, I guess I'll just kind of give some of my thoughts as I run through some stuff. I honestly think I might just end up doing some time trial. Oh, Aaron in the chat says, Jordan, how's the new job? Thank you so much for asking. It's fantastic. It really is. I do not really share stuff about that, career and in personal life. I like to kind of just keep things about games. But thank you for asking. Fantastic. Really, as much as I could have hoped for in the first week. I mean, just great. Everybody's great. Love the coworkers, my boss, the facilities. The whole thing is just, I feel really blessed. It's been really, it's been a great first week. Okay, so let's jump into this and pray for my frame rate. As I was kind of playing around a little bit before I started the stream, I was kind of tweaking some settings and hoping it wouldn't lag too much, to be honest. So let me do a couple of things actually here. I'm gonna Alt-Tab out real quick and just make sure that I have my CPU monitor up while I'm doing this. F for frame rate. God, yeah, probably so. I think the stream should be at 30 frames per second, and we'll see. And believe me, it is choppy on my end as well as I'm first starting here. So if you're seeing it choppy on the stream, that's not just the stream, I hope. How has Anthem aged? That's a good question. We'll kind of find that out as we go. There are some of these new display cases, which I am assuming, here's what I'm hoping for. I don't know if this is the case, because again, I haven't been playing the events or anything that they have had going on. But if you walk over to some of these, it's a new Cortex entry. And so we'll get like a little bit of backstory about whatever these items are. I'm assuming that these are maybe related to some of the events that have been going on, so that way as you finish the event, you can kind of see a little bit of how the world has been changed as a result of that. I'm hoping that's how that worked, but I'm not sure because, again, I've been out of the loop myself. It's snowing now, and there's Christmas music. So that, I mean, not Christmas music, but, you know, wintry cheer music, if you want to call it that. Okay, well, it looks icy. There is snow or ice on this whole used to be a fountain. Now it's grass or ice, however you want to look at it. For codex entries, I believe that's what Destiny did. Yeah, I think I even remember something like that, but that's what I would hope for anyway. At least that would make it feel a little bit more interactive. I gotta say though, I'm not. Oh god, the frame rate feels like I'm drunk. I mean, I will be honest, it's not great local either. So at least I hope that that's not just a stream. Yeah, it's not great. Good lord, it's dropping down pretty low. Why am I streaming so late? Well, schedules couldn't come together for a stream earlier today, and this is about as soon as I could get to a solo stream, because I kind of wanted it to be Anthem. We'll see if I live to regret that decision, but I thought it is the anniversary of Anthem. I did stream Anthem solo on launch day, and so I figured, what the heck, I'll try and stream again. Let's talk to this guy with his little frog friend here and see if he has anything to say.
Hello, I'm Herschel. Welcome to my store. And this is Kit, my boss.
Okay.
Icetide is here. My favorite celebration. Don't you love the fresh, cold air?
Do I love the fresh, cold air? Yeah, sure, why not?
It feels good to cool off sometimes.
I love being able to see my breath. I love the twinkly ice crystals hanging in the air. I especially love how Icetide makes everyone a little bit silly. How about you?
Yeah, my job is dead serious. I mean, at least it should be. He's a freelancer, goddammit.
Icetide doesn't make the world less dangerous.
Of course. Thank goodness there are people like you who enjoy pain.
What makes you think I enjoy pain?
You get shot at voluntarily. Looks painful to me.
You're welcome.
I've heard that the outlaws have been particularly vicious this Icetide. They're attacking the Striders that are bringing the ice harvest back. Last Icetide, my Uncle Strider was hijacked. And then he joined the brainwashing bastards. Exactly.
Good reason for me to get back out there.
Stay cool, freelancer.
You too, Herschel.
Kirsten, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, try and get some rest there. If it's 1 a.m., probably time to get some sleep. All right, I'm going to jump out here. I mean, look, there's a Christmas tree, and there's Christmas lights, but it is February, and why are there still Christmas lights? This is one of the things that, this is honestly my genuine reaction when I loaded this up, was that I get it, this was Icetide, this was the thing that they started, a few months ago, and they've still got the same, it's not the same event necessarily going on, or I guess it is, I don't know how they categorize event at this point. But ostensibly, it looks like it's Christmas. Which I don't understand because it's February. Take down the goddamn Christmas lights. And that kind of summarizes my entire feelings about Anthem, essentially. Is that like Anthem feels like going over to your friend's house who just, it's always super dirty at their apartment and like they don't take down their Christmas lights and, you know, they're always trying to move like an old like takeout box off the couch so you can sit down. And don't get me wrong, my apartment's not exactly clean, but you don't have to like step over boxes to walk in through the front door. This is what it feels like logging back into Anthem. It's like they're your friend, you know, they're your friend. They're still your friend. You still want to see them, but every time you see them, you just go, good Lord, they still haven't taken down the Christmas lights. Something like that. It's not a perfect analogy, but coming back to Anthem, I just kind of imagined that there would be something other than just Christmas lights that made me go, oh, this is new. But there are time trials. I feel personally attacked. I knew somebody was going to say that. Look, my apartment's not exactly clean. You know, it's in a reasonable state of disrepair, is how I like to put it. Okay, but free play, seasonal events, I'm going to drop into free play, and to be quite honest, the only thing that made me kind of feel like I could have fun with it was basically the time trial thing. Because that seems neat to me. And honestly, flying around is probably one of the most fun things to do in Anthem. So it would stand to reason that they would sort of gamify that in a more formal sense. Okay, so apparently YouTube now says that it's not getting enough data for the stream to go through smoothly, which is really disappointing because I feel like, okay, I might have to tweak some settings here to make sure that that the stream stays intact. You guys let me know if it's getting worse as far as the choppiness, because the page on the live stream page says that it's dying slowly.
Your suit is ready for deployment. Searching incoming reports for abnormal markers.
Okay, sounds good.
Let's try this. We might have to back it down to a 720 stream real quick. Oh wow, is it not even? You guys didn't let me know this. Is it not even all the way on full screen? Oh boy. That's no good. Okay. Hang on one second. We're gonna do something just 1 second. We're gonna go away and then we're gonna come back, and hopefully this is gonna help. All right, bear with me here. We're going away and we're coming back in just a second. Okay, kids, and we're back. Hopefully this is for the better. Hopefully this will help. Okay, actually, now it's the other problem. Hang on 1 second. Okay. That should now... Hopefully that will help with both the stream smoothness, although the resolution will be lower now, but hopefully that should help with the relative jankiness. Where's IT Kanye? Yeah, you're not kidding. Now I will say, you know, it's in the open world, in the free roam world, it's icy, there's snow everywhere, there's ice everywhere. It is also affecting the ability to hover and fly because you have the cooled buff. You know, it's fun. It's not bad, but it's still a pretty minor change. I don't know that they have really changed anything from a gameplay loop standpoint.
This one's Smuggler's Run. Start when ready, freelancer.
Also, I'd really just like to do the time trial without being accosted by trash mobs.
We'll need to wait for the official start.
I don't understand what this is exactly, why we have to wait for the official start, but
Okay, get set.
apparently that's a thing. So, but anyway, I think the time trial is kind of interesting, so I'm gonna run through a few of these and we'll see how it goes.
You're up.
Ah, that's not good. Okay. I don't know if there was just a gap there that I absolutely missed, but that's how that happened. Okay, and yeah, so far not too bad. See, that's the thing, is that it's amazing to think that this was almost something that Anthem didn't have, that flying was actually something that they worked back in. It was an original feature that they planned for the game, and then they were going to take it out, and then I believe it was Patrick Soderlund, one of the executives from EA, who really insisted that they put it back in. Which is absolutely the right call, because it's one of the most fun things about it. Oh, what the hell? Really? So again, like, I get it, time trial, you know, that's fun, but then it's mixed in with the rest of the open world where I can get attacked. I mean, I guess that just adds to the challenge in a way, but it's just weirdly jumbled. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. Also, there's still everything else. Like, it gives me the tutorial prompt for question mark as a point of interest, but it's like, I'm doing a time trial, so clearly that wouldn't be of interest to me at this exact moment. Oh, that's fun. Server session expiring. The server session will expire. And what looks to be 59 minutes. The other server session's still available. God, that's just so weird that it still comes up with those messages. It would also be great if it actually had a timer on screen so that I could actually see what my current time is. Now this part I do like.
Nice.
I mean,
That's really
you know,
something to brag about.
fireworks are always nice. That is kind of a fun finish. That is probably my favorite part there. Race complete. Bronze. Okay. All right. Not bad. I don't know. I'm curious. I kind of tweeted this out right before we started, but is anyone else out there like playing Anthem on a regular basis that's watching? I mean, what were the things that most attracted you to it when you played? Time Trial, Smuggler's Run, Ranger Time, 411. I wonder if Interceptor is just inherently better. I know the flight speed's not any better, but I have to imagine that with some of the glitches that you can do with the dodge, that it could be just inherently a better class to use. Oh, this is...
Okay, Smuggler's Run.
Alright, so this is Smuggler's Run, but let's try one of the other... Alright, let's try Watcher's Run if we can. I haven't played it since launch day. Yeah, I mean, I think that that is probably not too far off from what a lot of other people have done. Playing the United States Anthem 24/7 America. I'm playing DAO on a regular basis. Yeah, I mean, look, the weirdest thing, right? Like, I'm playing Andromeda again, Mass Effect Andromeda, which is really weird because I kind of thought maybe after like the 3 playthroughs that I had that I maybe had done whatever I was going to do with Andromeda and that was it, but I had an urge for Mass Effect, and for some reason I just wanted to maybe give that setting another try. And yeah, I think that I've said this a million times that Andromeda is basically underrated, but every time I play it I do start to realize more and more different things about it. In particular this time around, I think that Kadara is really good as a planet, and I think that Vold is probably the weakest planet. And it's just interesting that those two planets kind of come together in the main story around the same time. Which is obviously not good, because you're trying to wrap up the storyline on Vold when you're sort of thrown into, wow, that frame rate is dying. Holy God, that's bad. You're basically still in the middle of Vold's storyline when you're sort of thrust through to Kadara, and if you move the main storyline ahead right away, you can be juggling Vold, Kadara, and Eladin all at the same time, when in reality, Kadara and Eladin are really the interesting ones, and Vold is just, it has a lot of bad pacing as far as side quests and main quests. I can't believe the frame rate is this bad, honestly. Alex says, I think I've replayed KOTOR more than Anthem in the last... Yeah, that would not surprise me, to be honest.
Outlaws have been sighted around here. I have reports of attacks. We could look into it. That's the outlaw gang. Take them down.
It just seems so uneven to me. Like, I swear to you guys, I did not come on here to rant. I did not come on here to be negative or anything like that. I really came on here to try and be hyped for Anthem. I was reading some of the short stories, actually, that have been getting posted on the Anthem website, so maybe I could talk about that a little bit as well. But I'm just kind of amazed that this game hasn't improved more. And I have all the optimism in the world for Anthem 2.0, and I hope it really does prove a lot of people wrong, including myself. But I'm just kind of baffled that the game hasn't managed more changes or more improvement in the year that it's been out. And stuff like this time trial, which I actually think is kind of neat, which is why I'm playing it, because I think flying around in Anthem is cool. I'm kind of enjoying this, but at the same time I'm wondering, like, why does it still give the free roam prompts to go do other things when I'm clearly in the middle of a race? Like, that just seems basic to me. Like, if you're doing the races in Dragon Age Inquisition, when you go to get your horse, and you're in the hinterlands, and you can get your first horse, you can do these time trial races. As far as I know, it doesn't do, let's say, companion banter, right? Because that would be kind of distracting while you're trying to do this race. And so Bioware kind of already knows how to do that. Why would they still leave that stuff on and during this time trial? Like, it's little things. It's not the biggest thing in the world, but it really makes me scratch my head and wonder, you know, are they really paying attention to details and quality the way that they used to? Because to me, that's not, I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's a resources thing. I don't think that would take a lot of time to turn off, but I could be wrong. Maybe it's an engine limitation. It takes more work than you think. I don't know. But it's a head scratcher to me. Oh, except there's a rift spawn that spawns next to your horse race. You know, that's actually true. Maybe this has happened before. As someone who didn't really play Anthem, it looks good. Yeah, I mean, it certainly looks good. And again, like the aesthetic and the flying around in a giant robot suit is cool. I mean, it's just objectively cool. Okay, so I got an epic ember and a rare ember. So no, yeah, it definitely does look cool, and it is actually kind of fun doing these time trials, but I just wish that there was a little bit more polish on some of the stuff that they're doing. Like, I will say also, playing Mass Effect Andromeda is, to me, it's almost kind of like a totally different story in that the more I play Andromeda, the more I like it. I think I had as many frustrations with Andromeda as anyone else when it first came out. Oh, there are these wreaths as well, which kind of turn on when you interact with them. I'm not sure why, but okay. Yeah, I mean, when you look at this visually, it looks fantastic. And when you think about it conceptually, you know, giant robot suit flying around with crazy powers, that totally works. But it doesn't work in practice nearly as well. Oh boy, okay. Hey everyone, can't stay, just saying hi. Well, thanks Hannah for stopping by and saying hi. Glad you could join here for a brief moment. Yeah, like I'm playing through in this most recent playthrough of Andromeda. I really like the aesthetic to it. I think that a lot of stuff, the design, I'm constantly impressed by the design of the Tempest. Even though if I had to pick one, I'm going to say obviously the Normandy is better because of not just because of nostalgia, but because it's a more iconic ship in the sense of, you know, the story that you're taking that ship through. More stuff happens to the Normandy and the crew of the Normandy, but the Tempest is a cooler looking ship. You know, the combat is probably the best that we've ever seen from a Mass Effect game. The acting is very competent, you know, across most of it. I think that the writing on some of the companions is not as strong, but the acting's very good. The banter between companions in Andromeda is very, very good. Like, the Nomad banter between Andromeda companions is incredibly well written. I think it's some of the best writing in the game. And so every time I go back to Andromeda, I think, you know, this game isn't perfect. It's got lots of flaws. It's got lots of pacing issues. But the more I play it, the more I appreciate the things that it does well. Whereas with Anthem, the more I play it, the more I think, yeah, the flying and the shooting is good, but, you know, the parts that bog it down really bog it down, and I think it's almost getting harder to play each time I come back to it. Okay, Sviper says, I'm going to commit a Bioware sin. I actually like the Tempest crew more than the Normandy. Besides Liam, the Andromeda crew is really enjoyable. I mean, look, I don't think that's a Bioware sin. I think that's a totally valid opinion, and I think that over time, liking the Andromeda, you know, the Tempest crew is going to be a bit like liking the Dragon Age 2 party as your favorite. Like, it might be a little bit unusual, but I think that's a totally valid opinion. I think Korra, for all of the crap that Korra got, is actually a really good character. I think Drac and Vetra are really, really good. Like, not just good, but really, really good. You know, Jaal is actually the one that's kind of, I don't know, I think maybe Jaal might be people's favorite. He's not my favorite, but he's still solid. And also sort of the non-squad crew, like Suvi and Gil, I think are excellent. I think they're really, really good. I think Reyes, even though Reyes is not my favorite, I think Reyes as a sort of ally in the game also adds a lot. I know a lot of folks wanted Reyes to be a full squad member. Oh, here's a chest. And just random epic embers. Okay. I'll take it. Here's an idea. Mass Effect alternate universe. Everything was destroyed. Only few survived and need to rebuild the galaxy. Base/home building, nation building, clearing planets for pests. I mean, look, I would take it, right? To be honest, like, I mean, that doesn't sound terrible to me. I think that might even be kind of interesting to see how that might play out. Sviper, the Tempest team felt more like friends who got thrown into a galaxy-wide problem, while Normandy felt like work friends you grow close to. I 100% agree with that. That's actually a really strong take. And I've actually said this repeatedly, and actually, again, that's a great assessment. The Tempest does feel more like friends getting thrown into a problem, whereas the Normandy crew feels more like a crew in the military who grow to become friends. I just happen to like that Normandy storyline more, personally. Not saying that one is, you know, bad and the other one's good, just personally, I like the fact that at the end of Mass Effect 1, and I've said this on the podcast and elsewhere before, at the end of Mass Effect 1, Garrus is not your friend. He is not friends with Shepard. Okay, Rex is not friends with Shepard. You can go back and watch these cutscenes again. When you get done with Garrus's, basically his loyalty quest, even though at that time they didn't call it a loyalty quest, when you get done helping him with defying Dr. Salion, the conversation that you get to have with him after that mission, he basically says, thanks, Shepard, really appreciate the help. You know, thanks. That's pretty much it. And there's a respect there. There's a mutual respect between Shepard and Rex, between Shepard and Garrus. Basically, everyone that you don't romance sees you as a respected commander of the ship. They do not see you as buddies. Now, fast forward to Mass Effect 2, when you see Garrus on Omega and he's Archangel, there's definitely a real affinity there. Like, hey, you know, we've been through this shit together. We know each other. You know, it's that kind of a thing. And so the friendship kind of starts from there. So that by the time you're all the way to Mass Effect 3, you've been through multiple harrowing experiences with many of these people, and there is a deep friendship there. And it's Garrus and Vicarian, Shepard and Vicarian to the end. I kind of like the fact that the friendships grew over the course of the trilogy and that they weren't just immediately evident as soon as you started in Mass Effect 1. Whereas in Andromeda, they're very clearly trying to get you to be buddy-buddy with everyone right away, and I think it does feel a little bit forced. I still like that crew, don't get me wrong. I just, between those two approaches, I prefer the original trilogy approach. But yeah, that is a great assessment. That's basically the big difference between the two crews. I just thought I might get a couple screenshots, since at this point that might be what Anthem is best for. Haha! I didn't mean to go for a sick burn there. I was just trying to be honest. It's a fantastic looking game, though. Look at how cool that Javelin looks. Zach, Andromeda's crew was cringe. Sorry. I mean, there are moments of it being cringe. I don't disagree with you on that, Zach. I mean, I think that is that's true sometimes. There are definitely times when Liam makes me cringe. There are times when Vetra makes me cringe, and I like Vetra overall. I think that there are weak points and strong points in the writing throughout Andromeda, but the weak points they're just very easily memed. It is also written from the perspective of people who spend a lot of time on Twitter, and that always tends to border a lot closer to cringe. Mostly on the nose dialogue. I agree. And I'm not a fan of that type of dialogue writing. I completely agree. But there are moments where it's quite good. There are moments when inactivity notice. Due to inactivity, you will... I've been chilling for like 5 minutes. Could you give it a second? Anthem? Maybe if the game was more engaging, I'd have more fun playing the game than talking to the chat. It's not my fault my chat room is more interesting than your game. Jesus Christ, due to inactivity, you will be removed from the server. Fuck off! That is so ridiculous. I think we've been sitting here for 5 minutes, and I tried to do the time trial, but I kept getting shot at by fucking trash mobs. So sue me if I would rather just take a minute to talk to my chat room, who are far more engaging than Anthem after 1 year. I'm just gonna let you guys know, I'm not trying to trash Anthem. I'm just saying, you guys are so much more entertaining than Anthem at this point. And it didn't take you a year to get there. This chat room has been more entertaining than Anthem for the first 5 minutes that this chat room existed. In SWTOR, it takes 30 minutes to get kicked. Emery, you're so right. Because I've been playing the Old Republic a lot more recently. And again, it's not like Bioware doesn't know how to do an online game, because they do an online game. You have been removed from the server for inactivity. Please select another expedition. Oh, God. You ever got that scene at the end of Liam's loyalty mission when Ryder gets mad at him? I think male Ryder's tone and expression were so genuine, I forgot I was playing a game. That's a very good point. Yeah, I was going to talk about that a little bit more as far as moments where the dialogue is not on the nose and the acting is very good. Some of the conversations between Vetra and Cora and the Nomad are absolutely fantastic. I feel like they really get each other as far as they're both two people who get things done, but Vetra gets things done a little bit more on the dicey side. And so there's like a series of banters that start off with Vetra basically saying, or Cora saying, Vetra, some of the requisitions that you're procuring for the crew, I know that this is not 100% on the up and up. You're kind of doing some stuff on the black market sort of a thing. And Vetra is essentially saying like, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to report me? And I'm not going to quote through the entire conversation, but over the course of a couple of banter scenes, Cora and Vetra kind of come to an understanding about how they're both professionals. Like they both get things done, but Cora likes to get things done 100% through the book, and Vetra likes to bend the rules a little bit, but they're both very practical in their own way, and they come to an understanding based on that. I think that that's really good stuff. I think that Vetra and Drac talking to each other is really good stuff, especially when they talk about Sid, because Drac has the experience somewhat of raising Kesh, and Vetra has had the experience of raising her sister Sid, and Drac's sort of not laissez-faire, but he's a little more laid back about it because he's a little bit older than Vetra, and he's basically just telling her to kind of give Sid space in most cases and that she'll figure it out. I think that that's really wonderfully written dialogue. Alex, so like Aveline and Isabella, a little bit like that. That's actually not too far off. Yeah, that's actually not too far off. That's a good comparison. Vetro is probably forgettable because of the flat delivery. Okay, that's actually not a bad take. I mean, I think Vetro's acting is good, but I think it might be among the weak. If you had to rank just the acting, not the characters, but the acting, yeah, I don't know if I really put Vetro above that many others. Yeah, I mean, besides the daddy issues with Korra, I actually think there's really a well-written character. Completely agree. You know, and as you say, there's a couple of lines in there where they just feel kind of forced in, like I am an Asari Commando kind of a thing, particularly on her loyalty mission. Some of those are a bit cringe, where she's trying to, like, quote the Asari Bible or whatever she's doing constantly. If you just kind of smoothed out some of that dialogue, I think she would have been received a lot better. God, I don't know, man. I don't want to just leave us on the screen here. I'm so disheartened by Anthem that if the chat room just said, you should switch to playing Andromeda, I might do that. I mean, I don't know. You guys tell me. We can live in this however you guys want to do it. Because at this point, I'm thoroughly disheartened by Anthem. The time trials are new. Honestly, the event, like if I went to Expedition, if I looked at everything that we can do, I can't replay campaign missions, right? So I don't even know why it says change mission. That doesn't make any sense. The free play is exactly what we were doing. It's snowing in the open world, and you can do time trials, and there's also trash mobs. The strongholds are the same 4 strongholds that we've done. We've done all of the strongholds on stream. Legendary mission is just it's the missions, but they're legendary, and I'm under-leveled for that because I don't feel like grinding the same 4 strongholds to get leveled appropriately. And then there's quick play, which is just a random mission. So I just feel I'm baffled that after a year they don't have. It is the same core content as what they had a few months into the game. I think they added 1 stronghold probably 4 or 5 months after launch. Jump ship to the other ship. Do it. Play Andromeda. We could play Cards Against Humanity Chat Edition. Yeah, no great throwback with Mass Effect 2 gameplay. I mean, you're not wrong. Please, what? They've added nothing. I mean, I feel it's unfair to say that they haven't added anything because they did have the story events that were happening during the Cataclysm, but those kind of went away after that time period was up. I think they should have left them in so that people who missed them could go back and play them, which I would happily do, but they wanted to make it a timed thing. Okay, I get that. But now we're here. This seasonal? This is just the Heart of Rage, the exact same stronghold, which is also the last mission of the game, which it's unbelievable that they got away with making that a stronghold. And with inversions. So inversions are supposed to be these wild, crazy modifiers, but they're not that crazy. It's basically just buffs and debuffs. You know, if you defeat an enemy while hovering, you get extra damage boost on the ground, and your heat buildup is less while hovering. I mean, that's good. That's a neat wrinkle, but that's not enough to make me want to play through the Heart of Rage again, considering this stronghold takes a long-ass time, and the final boss is just a massive bullet sponge. Wasn't there supposed to be a plot about an alien race? Yeah, it was supposed to be kind of like the Reaper, not the Reapers. It was supposed to be kind of like the Protheans again. It's kind of what it felt like. It was like the big reveal of like, oh, look, there's an alien race. Casey Hudson comes out in the last cutscene. Like, he literally just looks like Casey Hudson. And then he says there's an alien race, and we're all supposed to be shocked. Octafluoride, all right, good night. Thank you for stopping in, Octafluoride. Your tweet about DA4 is going to be Smash Bros. Was awesome. That's an interesting thing also. By the way, unless you guys tell me to stop, Zach says I didn't buy Anthem. Worth it now? I'm going to, considering the fact that I'm struggling to even find the motivation to play it, I would probably say no. And it pains me to say that, but I'm going to say no. Yeah, unless you guys really stop me, I'm just going to jump into Mass Effect Andromeda because I don't think I've ever done this. I don't think I've ever swapped games in the middle of a stream, but this was kind of a last-minute stream. And what the heck, it's Saturday night. We can do what we want. If you ask me, Mark Hamill takes the role of Vesemir from The Witcher. He will kind of get to play Luke Skywalker the way he really wanted to. In a way. Yeah, in a way. Also, Mark Hamill is such an underrated actor. No matter what any of us think about The Last Jedi or Luke Skywalker or how he's portrayed in The Last Jedi, Mark Hamill's acting was fantastic. And I think everyone generally agrees with that. I'll be back soon. When you're back, I think we'll be playing something else, which is good. And you guys are so supportive, just allowing me to switch games. I gotta say, I mean this sincerely from the bottom of my heart. I really wanted to come in and be like, "This is awesome! 1 year of Anthem. You know, let's see what's new." I tried my best to be excited about it, and I don't even think disappointed is a strong enough word. I'm kind of baffled, honestly, because again, as I've been playing Mass Effect Andromeda, I'm not having the feeling of... Let me say this. Let me back up a little bit. There's a narrative that I think has been persisting for far too long, that Bioware is on a downslide, that they're not the same studio they used to be. And look, I don't think they're at their peak necessarily, although I think you could make the argument that Dragon Age Inquisition is one of... their best games, and it represents in many ways, at least from a production quality standpoint, maybe the best work they've ever done. And when I play Andromeda, and when I play Star Wars The Old Republic, I don't think that they're a studio that's on the decline in the way that some of the broader gaming community tries to paint them. When I play Andromeda, I see a bunch of really good stuff in there that is mired by the fact that Vold has pacing issues, the fact that the middle of the game has pacing issues, the fact that the cringy parts of the game are quite cringe. And there's a lot of really good stuff. When I play Star Wars The Old Republic, likewise, even though it's not exactly the Star Wars game that I wanted from them, I can't help but see how reminiscent of KOTOR it is. And so when I look at stuff that they have done recently that has been panned by a lot of people, I don't think it's deserving of having been panned. I think that Mass Effect Andromeda is a very good Mass Effect game, and I think that Star Wars The Old Republic is a very good Knights of the Old Republic game. And that's saying something, considering those two brands, those two series are considered some of the best in gaming history. And while Andromeda and Old Republic are not the peak of those, they are definitely living up to the name. Yeah, okay, again, that's a great point. SWTOR is getting so much new content, and it's so good. They even like listening to players and actively changing for the better. Everyone said, we really wanted more classic Bioware storytelling in Star Wars The Old Republic. And when they did Knights of the Fallen Empire and Knights of the Eternal Throne, those expansion packs really felt like KOTOR. If you only played the class storylines, which I think are very good, in particular the Jedi Knight class storyline is very much what KOTOR 3 would have been. It's partially written by Drew Karpyshyn, and it's very KOTOR-like. But when you get to the two main expansion packs that they did, those feel almost like single-player games just being played through an MMO, which I greatly appreciated. And so that's another example of BioWare really listening to the player base and really listening to those longtime fans who wanted classic BioWare storytelling in an online game, and we got it, which is really outstanding. And it again, that's part of what leads to the baffling reaction that I have with Anthem, is the fact that after a year, there still hasn't been that move to sort of pick up that classic BioWare storytelling. the way that there was with the Old Republic. Even though that's an online game that also has microtransactions and all the other stuff that EA wants, they found a way to give the old-time players what they wanted also, and that's just not happening with Anthem. Yeah. I am pretty much in agreement that I have actually never played Trooper. I've actually heard from a lot of people that they think Trooper is one of the least appealing storylines, but I have seen a couple of takes here and there that say that Trooper and Agent are both good because they take themselves seriously from a more grounded level. Since they don't have, since they don't center on a Force user, they don't have that same sort of cosmic high-level epicness. But they have epicness of a different sort. It's like regular people doing grounded, very human-based missions. And so I love the Agent storyline from that standpoint. And I wonder if I would like the Trooper storyline from that standpoint also. Also, Alexander Freed writes the Agent storyline, and I think that dude knows how to write. Like, big time knows how to write. Okay, all right. We've escaped. We have finally escaped from Anthem. Even the goddamn game didn't want to close. It was taking so long. All right, so thanks, Anthem, for that brief diversion. What we're gonna do instead is we are gonna pop open. I gotta open up Frosty real quick because. The beautiful thing, that's another aspect. The beautiful thing about playing Andromeda now is that there's actually a decent, it's not great, but there's actually a decent amount of mods that have actually been made for that game, which is really impressive. For a game that was panned as much as it was, to have gotten people who've actually really supported it from a modding standpoint. Oh, that's right. Okay, so I forgot about this. I remember when we did it, but then there was a break of time between when this happened and when I actually started playing. Snail, that's right. You created a guild for Codex Added, which I really appreciate. The one thing I don't know that we got is what server you're playing on. Because I think I've been on is it the Basilishan or is it the Satil-Shan server? I can't remember. I honestly forget the server names. Because I think they're down to, 6 servers? And so, yeah, that was one detail. Yeah, that is a thing. It's on Satil. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, so that is the server where I have all of my characters on, which is really quite nice. That I will have to remember to do. Oh, look. It's Mass Effect Andromeda. Hello. Oh, one other thing I gotta do real quick. So that the color correction is not completely off. Oh, snap. We're back. Oh, how fun. Also, just for a second, here's what we're going to do. We're just going to sit on the title screen, and we are going to appreciate the fuck out of this music, because I will criticize the fact that I think the score is underused in Mass Effect Andromeda, but this title screen, I believe this is A New Beginning on the soundtrack. It is so goddamn good. It's wonderful. It's beautiful, and I love it, and we're just going to take a minute and appreciate how good this soundtrack is. So let's just sit back and listen to A New Beginning, the Mass Effect Andromeda soundtrack. Emery, that is a great fun fact. That is also some epic music to listen to finishing out senior year. What's so incredible about this is that it's synthy, and yet it also has sort of the vibe. It's the same energy of the piano tracks from Mass Effect 3, right? Like leaving Earth, and I can't remember. Oh, I can't remember which one it is, but it's the main sort of like romance piano theme. Those are so chilling with how the piano is used, and Mass Effect 1 is, of course, like probably the synthiest of all the Mass Effect soundtracks, and this captures the energy from both of those, in my opinion. All right, let's jump in a little bit. Let's play some Mass Effect Andromeda. I'd be lost without you. Good pull on that, Alex Raffio. Yeah, I love that track, by the way. I'd Be Lost Without You is a genius track. I mean, that is a genius track. It's so good. That is one of the best instances of music truly capturing an emotional tone that I think I've ever seen in a video game. Okay. I will say that there is one thing that causes a bit of a frame rate issue in Mass Effect Andromeda, is that CPU usage will max out right when you load into the game. It'll be 100% CPU utilization, and then after about 30 to 45 seconds, maybe 60 seconds, it drops down to normal, and then the frame rate, at least in my current configuration, is pretty much always 60 frames for the most part. All right, so I think I probably, in this current playthrough, we're jumping in right to the middle of my most recent playthrough here, so it's, sorry for the lack of continuity, but, the last time, the first thing that I ever streamed solo on this channel was Mass Effect Andromeda, and we did Alicia, a writer, who was a female biotic writer. This is my most recent version of Scott. He's a fully tech build writer, and so yeah, this is kind of midway through. Vold is done, Kadara's done. I'm probably gonna head over to Eladin, but in the meantime, I think I was maybe doing some loyalty missions. Yeah, like I think it actually might be time to do Drax's loyalty mission, which would be a lot of fun actually. I wish I could run Andromeda on Ultra at 60 frames per second. I mostly can. Whenever you talk to Callow, the lighting is so good, it will drop it down no matter what. And in front of certain planets, it will drop it down no matter what. But for the most part, it's 60 FPS. Let's go talk to Drac. I think it might be fun. I was planning to do his loyalty mission anyway, so that's a good thing to do on stream.
Ryder, I need your help with something.
I get a feeling this is something big.
Yeah, it is. One of our botanists' heart called up in a panic. A colony transport has been stolen.
It's a transport. Can't you just replace it?
It's not the transport. It's what's on it. Our seed vault. One of a kind. Without that vault, things get complicated. Krogan children need the nutrients in those plants to survive. Even one clutch of babies hatch before we get the stuff synthesized. The effects would be permanent.
So what do you need from me?
I'm gonna find those thieves and get the vault back. Be nice to have you along.
Aren't the transports protected by passcodes? And how do you steal anything from a Krogan?
First thing Hark checked. Looks like some old authorization codes weren't erased. He was working in the transport and stepped out for 2 seconds. The thieves walked right in and flew off.
Of course I'm in. Whatever you need.
I knew I could count on you. Hark's waiting for us at the colony on Eladon. He's tracking down the transport beacon. He'll have the location ready for us on arrival.
Good. We'll find the transport track. Don't worry.
I'll hold you to that, Ryder. Hey. Thanks. I owe you one.
I'm not worried. You're good for it.
This is also a modded writer that the texture for his face texture is, I think it might have been Elise, the well-known modder who's made a bunch of stuff for, you know, Elder Scrolls games and a bunch of Bioware games, where it's basically just the stubble, the default, like the vanilla stubble is really quite ugly, and so this is just a touch up on the skin texture and the stubble, so it's a little bit neater. So yeah, and obviously that's a modded casual outfit as well. It's basically similar to what Dad Ryder wears in the opening, and what the other officers of the Initiative wear, which is kind of what Ryder should be wearing. Okay. Spiper, I like this stubble, but I guess I think the stubble looks good. I just think that the stubble, the way they did it, was not well done. So he's still got stubble. I just think it's actually cool looking stubble. Okay, so speak with Hark at the greenhouse. So I mean, I guess I could go to Eladon. I wasn't sure if I was quite ready to go to Eladon yet. I forgot that his Drax loyalty mission. I mean, I've got a lot of stuff to do on Eladon. That's true. I'm just not 100% sure if I was ready to go over yet. Okay, let's see. Let me I'm gonna walk around a little bit on the Tempest, and then maybe go to Aya first, because there were some little side things that I wanted to do on Aya. Let's go over to talk to Lexi.
Ryder?
Oh, that's right. Here we go.
I saw another of Dad's memories. I was in this one. Sarah, too. We were home visiting. Dad told us about going through the Charon relay.
So you got your sense of exploration from your father?
By the way, I love this. The fact that you could define yourself in relation to your father, and the fact that you could say, you know, yeah, absolutely, I got it from him, or you could distance yourself from him. It doesn't change the canon aspects of how they depict Alec Ryder, but to me, it's a great example of giving you leeway within an established canon. Whatever Alec Ryder, whoever he was, is whoever he was, but you get to define yourself compared against that. That's a neat role-playing thing to do, but also thematically, I mean, that's a classic trope of sort of comparing yourself to your father or your mother, and sort of using that as a measuring stick, but also using it as a way to differentiate yourself. You know, Ryder in canon is 22 years old, and so they're exactly at that age when this would be most important.
We joked it was in our DNA.
Then that part of him lives on.
I ran across another memory fragment. Dad made Sam for Mom, to cure her. I knew that was part of it, but...
You didn't know it was the driving force?
He gave up everything trying to save her.
You didn't realize how important his family was to him?
I guess not.
Maybe that's what he wanted you to see.
I'll let you get back to it.
I'll be here if you need me.
It's also incredible how well Lexi works as a sounding board for the player. I do think that while I love what we just saw right here, I think they could have utilized it even more. And of course, that's a time and resources issue. But if you have that device, if you have essentially like a therapist, she's there to help facilitate the well-being of the crew, both physically and mentally. But if you have that as a storytelling device, and you've seen this in countless stories before, it's like it's an excuse to let the player sort of have a voice to just sort of say whatever they're thinking, and then to have someone thoughtfully reflected back. I mean, that's a really cool device to have in a role-playing game, because it allows you to just let you as a player give your opinion on who you are, and then have someone respond back to it. So, you know, it's very good that they did that. I just would have loved to see even more of it.
Hi there.
Oh, hi there. We're not going to talk about war stories just yet, but just checking in, Cora.
See you later, Cora.
Stay safe.
Is Vetra in here? Yeah, Vetra is.
Need something? Need something done?
So accommodating. Vetra is really. No, we're not going to talk about Sid.
You probably have work to do. We can chat later.
You know where to find me.
He sounds like such a boss right there. You probably need to get back to work. Which is not a bad thing. A lot of people make a lot out of the fact that Ryder, there's an early cutscene in the game where Ryder doesn't dismiss the crew and they just kind of run off and they disregard your leadership, and that kind of bent players the wrong way, because in contrast with Shepard, it made a lot of players feel like they weren't in control of the crew. I've always liked to point out the fact that if you play the game deeper into the story, you actually have 2 or 3 other conference room scenes where slowly Ryder starts to gain more and more control over the crew. But anyway, I'm about midway through. Ryder is really starting to develop his boss muscles.
Hey, Ryder. What's the story?
What about Jill?
How's your friend Jill doing?
Good. Busy. Apparently, prepping multiple species for procreation is a lot of work. Who knew? Waiting to get it all started was killing her. Now she's being shot out of a cannon, so to speak.
Yeah, well, so to speak. What can we ask him about with the Nexus?
How does it feel seeing the Nexus come together?
It's starting to cook. Be what it was meant to be. For the longest time, I never thought that would happen. And we're making it happen, Ryder. I'm really proud to be part of that.
I think we can probably still prod a little bit more about him and Callow. I don't know if we're ready to have the final showdown yet, but we're probably close. I mean, let's find out.
Out with it already. What's the deal with you and Callow? Anything I should be concerned about?
Twist my arm, why don't you? It's contrasting styles more than anything. He's a blueprint guy. I'm gears and guts. Got ink on his digits, not grease up to his elbows. If you didn't have me to balance him out, you might be in trouble. Heck, maybe that goes both ways.
Alex, thank you for asking that. I think you said Andromeda is supposed to be like playing Shepard origin story before ME1. That's still the impression. In principle, yes, but in practice, no, it's very different. What I meant by that is that the origin story of Shepard, for instance, being the hero at the Skillian Blitz or being the lone survivor, all of these different things, it is the point at which Shepard becomes sort of legendary. And so for Ryder, yes, that is a sufficient analog. But if you dig deeper into what the story of Ryder in Andromeda really is. For Ryder, they've left the Alliance, right? No matter whether you're male or female Ryder, whatever else you pick, you have left the Alliance. You would have been a soldier. In the case of, let's say, Bro Ryder, Scott Ryder, he was a Alliance soldier who was stationed at guarding a mass relay outpost, and he saw some action, he saw some combat, but it wasn't super eventful. And so, there's a big difference between that assignment versus Shepard, who was always kind of considered top of their class, and Seven, all of these different things. So it's a very different type of story, but at least, functionally it serves sort of the same purpose. It's kind of how I would classify it now. But that's a good refresher from some of my takes before. Oh, do I have a cryopod to use? Very nice. Okay, what I'm actually trying to do is get... That's an additional consumable slot. Did I want versatility, or did I want... I wanted something else. I got reconnaissance, I've got this, I've got this. That's just one more consumable slot, and I don't really think I care about that, to be quite honest. I mean, trade capacity is somewhat... Oh no, it's the science thing. That's what I wanted. Innovation is the one that allows another augmentation slot, which is really good. So we need improved development 2, but improved development 2 needs more viability on Havarl. Hi, Leroy. He says, Anthem looks great. I mean, it's never looked better if you think about it. No, so I think the stream info still says Anthem, doesn't it? I should probably change that. Reduces the amount of time it takes to earn research points. Maybe. Additional common mining nodes will be made. I'll tell you what, I'm going to save, well... Do I want to save this thing, or do I want to actually just get financial? I'm not going to worry about it right now. I'm not going to worry about that cryopod just yet. What I am going to do is real quick swap over to the stream info. For anyone that just happens to be joining us, obviously we are not playing Anthem right now, so I'm going to go ahead and change the stream info to Mass Effect Andromeda, so that is updated for folks. Yeah, let's do that. We'll just title this as such. I don't know when what the last number was for when we played Andromeda. But we're back with the crew of the Tempest. This is basically Anthem without flying. I mean, we could do flying also. Let's not forget about that. Flying is actually possible with the right mods in Andromeda. Would I prefer to see the new Dragon Age first, the new Mass Effect first, or Anthem 2.0? Well, we're going to get Anthem 2.0 first. I mean, that's undeniable, because we're getting Anthem 2.0 this year. Knock on wood. So I think that the order of that is going to be Anthem 2.0, and then Dragon Age, and then Mass Effect. There have been some really encouraging, I would say. Some people might say it's maddening to be teased in this way, but I think Mike Gamble has tweeted out some tweets that are pretty encouraging. That would lead us to believe that the Mass Effect development is really getting underway now, but I think we're probably still 4 or more years out from that. So Yeah, I think we're getting Anthem 2.0, then Dragon Age, then Mass Effect. Let's talk to PB real quick. PB without the stupid face tattoo.
Hi there. Just checking in.
What's up?
On this playthrough, we're romancing Cora, so that's how we're doing that. We have flirted with PB a little bit, but we're going to romance Cora on this one.
Thanks for chatting. We'll talk again later.
You know it.
Okay. Is Jaal? I think Jaal's got some stuff to talk about, which is why he's behind the door.
Hey, Jaal. Didn't mean to scare you.
What? I'm not scared. 1 second.
What's going on in here? You look busy.
If I'm busy, my mind is occupied with whatever I'm working on, rather than worrying.
I can see how that helped.
I'd like your advice on something. I'm making gifts for everyone. I have a list.
Gifts?
Do Turians like poetry? For Vetra, I'm writing a poem and engraving it on... I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, probably not so much the poetry.
She's a Turian. She might like something a little more hands-on.
Good to know. I'll think about that. Liam seems to like my Rofgin. I might sew him one.
He does.
Do Krogan like knives? I could craft a ceremonial Angaran dagger for Drac.
Who wouldn't want that?
It's mainly decorative. Would you like one?
Jaal, this is a lot of work. What's really going on?
I'm sure that I seem confident and skilled to you, but I'm not. Or I don't feel like I am.
I think most people feel like that.
I want to fit in. I want to make a difference.
And most people probably think the same thing.
My family is well known. Our lineage is respected, and many of my kin have achieved great things. I've never been one of them. So many older siblings and cousins who succeeded at everything. I stopped trying to keep up.
Right.
Thanks for listening.
You're not in anyone's shadow here. I believe in you.
It's a really nice conversation. I think it's hard to fit stuff like that into a broader narrative when you're trying to tell this big science fiction epic, but I'm glad that scene's in there. That might seem like such a simple, easily overlooked thing to tell someone when someone expresses doubt about themselves and says, essentially what Jaal is just saying is, I want to fit in, and I want to be a part of the team, and I want to fit in, but I also want to stand out in my own way. I want to be somebody, and for you to be able to tell him, essentially, that's normal. That's what everybody feels. It's kind of nice. It's one of the most common things that everybody feels, and to be able to handle something like that in a video game, particularly when you're the leader and you get to sort of encourage that amongst your crew, not bad. I know everyone's gonna forget about that in the grand scheme of things. When the broader gaming community looks at Mass Effect Andromeda, they think of my face is tired memes. But it's just kind of unfortunate that really nice simple, basic storytelling character moments like that have been forgotten, which is, I don't know, maybe it's a good part of the reason why we're streaming Andromeda right now.
My reports from Ephra regarding Aksul are worrying. I don't understand how the Rokar manages to recruit so many.
Force Ghost Yoda, in a way, yeah, kind of. That wasn't my intention, right? Like a few days ago or a week ago, I just really had the urge to play Mass Effect, and I thought about doing another trilogy playthrough, but that's kind of a lot of time, and so this playthrough that we're seeing right now was kind of abandoned. This was kind of like the last one. This would be my 4th complete go at Andromeda, and so I figured, well, what the heck, may as well finish that. I've always really liked I kind of tweeted about it somewhat, somewhat personal reasons of like I always really liked the concept of exploring a new galaxy. And so I thought, what the heck, I'll just boot up Andromeda again, figuring that if I got bored with it in an hour or two, that would be it. But for the past several days, I've just gotten really back into Andromeda, and I've really been appreciating its strong points. So yeah, I mean, it's not even necessarily that I'm trying to for the stream. It's almost been like I've had thoughts about Andromeda that have been building up for the past few days, and it's just kind of easy to talk about at this point.
Do you have a mate? A partner?
I don't. Not for a long time.
Not for a long time?
I fell in love with a girl once. Aliyah. We were young. I was young. It was my first vassal on Aya. We worked on the same farm. She was a little older. A researcher. I can still hear her laugh and see her eyes. She kissed me and I was hers. Thrilled and seduced.
But it didn't work out?
My older brother came to Aya. He was already famous in the Resistance.
Where's Aliyah now? Did she and your brother work out?
They came back to Haval and she joined our family. She became one of the mothers.
You have to see her every day?
No. They were taken by the Kett. Their children survived.
Well, enough about that.
Holy shit, that's heartbreaking. That's a really rough story, man. You fall in love with a girl, your older brother swoops in, steals her out from under you, they get married, they move home, that's got to be torture, but then what's even worse than that is they both get taken by the Kett, which probably makes Jal feel like a piece of shit in some ways. And then the kids are left. Whew, boy.
I'll see you later, Jal.
Stay strong and clear.
Again, I get it. He always says stay strong and clear. I would really like it if he didn't say that every time when you left, and my face is tired and all this other stuff, but, there's so many great small storytelling moments in Andromeda that again, basically what I was saying when I was ranting about Anthem is the more I play this game, the more I appreciate it. Anyhow, I think I'm going to head back to Aya. I don't know that we're going to do Drax's loyalty mission because I was not quite ready to jump all the way into Eladin, because a bunch of other quests start to pop off when you do that. And so what I'm going to do first is wrap up kind of some smaller stuff. Yeah, I'm not going to Vold. Yeah, well, what else is Ryder supposed to do except, just slowly ease right out of that conversation? Yeah, we got to do that amongst other things. So, yeah, let's... Oh, also, by the way, when you're doing on this, I forget what it's called, H32, whatever, that is so much fun to drive around on the Nomad. I posted a small clip on Twitter the other day. That is so much goddamn fun to drive around on the Nomad.
Probe away. We've got a crater.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, you guys really seem to love how Ryder ended that conversation. Force Ghost Yoda, God, love the galaxy map theme, right? I gotta say, I also really like it. And when you think about it, those are the biggest shoes to fill ever, because the original Mass Effect galaxy map music is so iconic. It's one of the most easily recognized pieces of video game music ever. And I don't think this is as good, but, you know, we don't have to always get into which one's better. They're both just really good. Okay, now that that's done, let's just pop over to Aya. Okay, let's get on to Aya, and there should be a couple of just general side quest things. I think I've got to go to the embassy, we're going to talk to PB, we're going to wrap up the Avela fetch quests. Well, I think she'll give us a couple more after we do that. Mass Effect is like Dragon Age, but in space, and not really Dragon Age at all. Yes, that is a very good description. Although for me, it's hard to imagine. I know that this, you know, probably everyone has played Dragon Age, but is there anyone who's... Because Aaron has played Dragon Age and not Mass Effect, but is there anyone who's only played Mass Effect and not Dragon Age? For me personally, it's so hard to imagine only having done one, because they're so similar that if you like one, you should generally like the other one well enough. Oh, this is a guy who has a ridiculous fetch quest. And as much as I'm actually being somewhat of a completionist on this run, that guy's fetch quest is ridiculous. Let's see. I've been told I should stream Mass Effect to someone who knows nothing about it because it would be funny. I completely agree with that, and especially in this, you know, day and age where, you know, people are really hunting for popular games. If you can get to a popular series like that, not having played it, and stream your live reaction to it, I think that would actually be really entertaining to watch. I consider myself a completionist unless it's asinine to do, so I'm more of a 95%-ish-nist. That's not a bad principle. Okay, let's go to the embassy first, since it's on the way. Okay, so on Aya, this is the first initiative
The Angara have been
embassy.
gracious. Everything's going well.
Good. Keep me updated. 10 out.
I've never lied to a director before.
And I think it was Tan who asked Shepard to come and talk to the ambassador to, you know, just talk about Pathfindery shit.
Pathfinder, it's a pleasure. I'm Ambassador Riala, Chief Diplomat for the Initiative on Aya. I was removed from Cryo specifically for this. Quite the wake-up call.
Aaron, if you do end up streaming Mass Effect as a blind playthrough, tweet me or something, because I would totally like to see that. I was removed from Cryo specifically for this. Quite the wake-up call. Yeah, well, I can relate, sort of. Well, you must be very qualified.
I assume you're trained for first contact diplomacy.
I'm a social anthropologist with a linguistics background. Close enough for Director Tan. I hear you're to thank for our new ties with Aya. This is our best shot at an alliance. Now we just need to keep our people from wrecking it, no matter how hard they try.
Hey, Flukus, glad you could be here. I'm doing great. I was going to play Anthem. Well, we did play Anthem, and then that didn't go so well. And so now we're playing Mass Effect Andromeda because that's actually kind of more what I felt like playing. I don't know. We seem to be doing okay with Andromeda, though. Anyway, she was saying now we just need to keep our people from wrecking it, no matter how hard they try. Yeah, sounds like there's trouble.
If something's wrong, I need to know.
Maybe you can help me fix it. A Solarian botanist named Sorvis Len is here, learning how to improve our crops. He sent an urgent comm, saying a member of the Angaran resistance had threatened him.
What happened?
I'm not sure. Sorvis is an excellent scientist, but not the best communicator. I'm concerned this could escalate if someone doesn't look into it, but I don't have the staff to spare.
I can go settle things. I'm a friendly face for both sides.
That would be helpful. With any luck, we can prevent this from getting worse.
Okay, so we've got our little mission here. Before we go, any other problems?
Aside from Sorvis Len, is everything okay? Need anything else?
Actually, yes. Director Tan gave me a project. He wants more Aya natives to live on the Nexus. He thinks it will deepen our partnership. A few Angara expressed interest, but none of them will agree to live on the Nexus without speaking to you first.
Why me?
After what you've accomplished? I didn't want to bother you, but you asked. I'll point you towards the candidates. If you could convince them to transfer, I'd be grateful.
Okay.
That's all for now.
I'm here if you need anything.
All right, not bad. And then we've got Reynolds here, who's her one and only staff member in the embassy. This poor guy. I always like the fact that you could come over and talk to him, though.
The ambassador's messages are overflowing again.
All right.
No rest for the weary.
All righty, Reynolds. Keep it up, buddy. You're doing a great job. I like to imagine that Ryder would be a very encouraging sort of boss type, CEO type character, you know? He is sort of the face of the initiative. Let's go have a chat with Karen Shi real quick. I don't know if she has anything new to say, but
Enro tells me you've participated in our little citizens forum near the market. Take care with that group's leader. She competed with me for this office. Defeat made her bitter. What can I do for you?
Well, I did just kind of finish with a lot of business on Kadara Port. Maybe we can ask her about that.
Why didn't you tell me about Kadara Port when I first arrived?
I assumed you already knew. We didn't realize there was a difference between your exiles and the Initiative.
Fair enough.
As for Venturev, Evra hid his betrayal from everyone. He'll answer for that.
Very well. How's the Moshai doing?
Your people revere the Moshai. What did she do to earn that?
After the Scourge, our civilization was in ruins. Those who led the rebuilding were thinkers, experts, and inventors. The Moshai is the greatest scientific mind of our generation. She led us to a new age of technological innovation. When the Ket attacked, she studied their technology, learned their tactics.
You owe your survival to her.
We owe her everything, and we'll do anything to protect her.
Thanks for your time.
Ishare, Pathfinder.
Oh, Emery, I just spent the last several minutes downloading new mods, only to realize I don't even have Mass Effect Andromeda installed. That's a sad moment. I realized I didn't have Anthem installed earlier today, which is why the stream got started so late. Now I just want my hard drive space back, to be perfectly honest. I know that's a rough thing to say, man, but I really got to be honest with you. I want my goddamn 80 gigabytes back. Oh boy. Jordan, this might be a dumb question. Not at all. But were the people in Andromeda Galaxy affected at all by the events of Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3? So they are not affected directly by the effects of Mass Effect 3, not at all. So the Andromeda Initiative left shortly before the start of the events of Mass Effect 3. And the effects of Mass Effect 1 and 2, I mean, they're aware of the attack on the Citadel, which is a big galactic event. They were aware of the fact that the Geth existed, but as far as like the Krogan genophage being resolved in Mass Effect 3, none of that happened as far as they were concerned. Or, I mean, it happened, but they left by the time that it happened. So the stories are pretty independent. I would probably still recommend playing the trilogy first, because you'll understand the world better. But, you know, from a progression standpoint, you know, Andromeda is not dependent upon the events of the trilogy. Let's see here. Enro Bosan. What is there a quest from him? Or is that just one of those get to know everybody quests? I can't remember. I don't even remember. Why is this a quest I already have? Salro, speak to Salro about moving to the Nexus. Oh, that's right. That's the one she just gave me. Duh. Okay. Speak to this person about moving to the Nexus. Got it. Okay. And then that's Sorvis Len. That's Avela. This is PB. Okay, so we got a few things to do on here. Let's talk to this person here first. And then I'll see if Enro actually has anything that's not completely tedious to do. I meant more like these aliens that you're around now. Like, I know Reapers are the big bads, but I'm not sure what they are. Yeah, Reapers are the big bads. They're inorganic. I think I would probably leave it at that. Like, if you do actually play blind, I kind of would, yeah, what are the Reapers? They're the enemies.
Increase your odds of survival. Wear armor.
Vetra needs us for something, apparently.
Doing okay?
Who knew saving a respected member of Angaran society would open so many doors? I've been talking to some of their traders, seeing if we can work things out.
Increase your odds of survival. Wear armor.
We have to be careful not to trade away too much of what the Nexus needs.
Trust me, I'm running everything by Kesh.
This is an armor merchant. Very good. Alright, let's talk to Hellrule.
You're one of Ambassador Reala's candidates to live on the Nexus.
I am. Glad you finally showed up. Let's get down to it. I've lived my whole life wanting to meet aliens who didn't want me dead. But my family's here. How can I stay in touch with them from the Nexus?
You'll have ways to send them text messages and comm transmissions.
I want contact with the people I love. You offer machines. Not good enough, Pathfinder.
Huh. Alright. I don't even know if that went well, necessarily, but we got the objective mark done. SM, what's up? Yeah, no, for sure, Aaron. I think that would be a blast. Yeah, and that's one of those things where I don't know. I'm always interested to see if we can always recruit one more Mass Effect fan. God, Aya just looks fantastic. Okay. Make sure I don't miss anything. No, I'm not going to miss Sorbus because he's right there. Get into the museum, so that should be hard to miss. All right, let's talk to this gentleman.
I can't work under these conditions. What does it take to be left alone?
Ambassador Riala sent me to check on you. You reported that someone in the Resistance threatened you. Tell me exactly what happened.
I didn't know Riala was sending the Pathfinder. I deserve no less, of course. I was measuring the photonic dispersal from the canopies when some random brute interrupted me. I asked him to move, and he got nasty. Said it was my fault his friend was dead. Ridiculous.
Do you know what he meant by that?
He ranted nonsense about a vessel and selling slots to outsiders. He got right up in my face and compared me to a cat. He wanted to kill me. I could see it in his eyes. The whole conversation made no sense. I think he was inebriated.
Sounds like there's more to this. Don't suppose you caught his name?
Didn't ask, didn't want it, didn't need it. When he left, I tagged him with infrared dye from my sample kit. Invisible to the naked eye, but not to a scanner.
I'll scan people around the Resistance headquarters. See if I find him.
You're supposed to represent our interests on Aya. Go, represent. I have work to do.
Awesome confession. I have never made it through Eden Prime. What? I didn't know there were this many people who still hadn't gone through the trilogy. That is somewhat incredible. All right, so there's one more that I need to convince to go through the trilogy, if not Andromeda also. One thing that I will say here about this Sorvis Len conversation, I kind of wish there was more of this. It's not always, this guy's being kind of a jerk, but I always thought that the initiative was almost unrealistically copacetic with the Angara, and that, even though that's one of the prime objectives and all that, I thought that there could have been a little more tension on the side of the initiative, and that would have been realistic to make that relationship a little bit harder to work through. I don't know. I just thought that maybe would have been nice. Treason. No, I wouldn't go so far as to say treason. But if I can propose giving Mass Effect a shot, even if third-person shooters and sci-fi is not normally your thing, I would even say maybe play Mass Effect 1 at least on easy, because the combat is kind of janky, so you might need to give yourself that break. Alright, I'm trying to find this guy that he marked so we can talk to him and get both sides of the story here, because as just about anyone would be able to tell, Sorvis Len is not exactly the most objective recounter of events.
I detect the infrared dye Sorvis Len used to mark the person who threatened him.
That's our man.
All right.
I know why you're here. The botanist. You want an apology for what I said to him.
I only have one side of the story. Tell me yours.
It's hard to explain.
Try me.
Aya isn't big enough to give everyone a home. We each live here a short time and then move on.
For someone to come, another must go. The exchanges are chosen at random. We call this arrangement the Vassal. Time of change. It worked well, until now.
The Vassal never accounted for outsiders living on Aya.
There's only so much room. When our leaders agreed to make a place for your people here, it came with a cost. My friend won a place on Aya, but he sold that slot so one of you could stay here instead.
Sold it how? What did he get?
Comforts for his family, resources to improve their home on Haval. He always put others before himself. That's how he died, fighting Ket on Vold. When I found out, I was angry. Said things to your botanist I shouldn't have, but I'd never hurt your people.
I think it's perfectly reasonable to ask for an apology, but it is his homeworld. I mean, I know that I'm trying to remember what the actual line of dialogue is. I don't think that "make it right" is that harsh. I'm just going to go with that because I think it's probably a pretty gentle request for an apology. He did also, I don't know, threaten to hurt people, so I don't know if we just want to completely dismiss it, but we're going to go with this. I think it works out well either way.
He thinks you want him dead. Tell him what you just told me, and let's move on.
Right, that's a
Thought I was
perfect
clear
thing
the
to say.
first time. Maybe his translator malfunctioned.
I'll talk to our ambassador, see if we can minimize our impact on your Vassal.
We don't expect things to be easy. Only that you understand, nothing is free for us.
Snazzy fights and heroic rescues. Again! Pathfinder.
Alright, I'm going to come into the shop real quick. Probably not going to buy anything, but I can sell salvage. There we go. Also, I've said this before, but it bears repeating as I'm going through this playthrough again. The fact that Mass Effect Andromeda has some sort of economy system, even though it's certainly not the best, it's a step up over any of the other Mass Effect games. Like, trading and you know, the only thing you had to do was manage inventory to make sure that you didn't completely fill up your inventory. But the fact that buying and selling actually has some usefulness in Andromeda is actually a step up from anything that we ever saw in the trilogy. And more specifically, the fact that there aren't a lot of credits to be had, right? You actually don't find a lot of money. You don't really earn you don't really earn money from quests. That makes perfect sense, because if you're in a completely new galaxy, what the hell good is money? What the hell are you going to use the currency from the last galaxy for? Instead, the way that you honestly end up getting credits, the reason why I have basically any credits at all, I've got like 35,000 credits, is from selling materials. Right, which makes absolute sense. If you sell minerals, the minerals are actually like the money. So you're actually trading minerals for gear more than anything. Which I thought was actually brilliant. It's very, very, very subtle. You can easily overlook that as a fact, but it's actually exactly the way to handle a nascent economy in a new galaxy.
I found the person who threatened you.
I know. I received a written apology from him. I assume I can continue my work undisturbed.
Next time your big mouth lands you in trouble, I may not save you.
We'll see what Director Tan has to say about that.
Tell him I say hi.
You're interfering with my readings. Good day, Pathfinder.
That was a little harsh. I just meant to tell him to be a little bit nicer, but that was a little harsh. The classic Bioware overstatement where the summary is not really a good indication of what your character is about to say. Here we go. Here's another person to convince. See how this goes.
Pathfinder, Ambassador Riala didn't think you'd have time for me.
She said you needed to talk before agreeing to live on the Nexus.
This is the opportunity of a lifetime. I'm an anthropologist, but I've only ever studied my own people. I've heard the Nexus is home to multiple species and cultures. It will be fascinating and possibly dangerous. Bacteria, viruses, other contaminants. My family worries about me. Are you sure I'll be safe?
We'll take every precaution. But entering an alien environment is always a risk.
I appreciate your honesty, and so will my family. I'll convince them to let me go. Thank you.
Ah, the Milky Way system exhibit. You know, one of the things that I've always loved is that in the Milky Way system exhibit, we have alcohol and cereal, which I just think is really awesome. And like multiple types of alcohol too. It's not even just like one type. In fact, I think if we can, hang on, let me pop open Ansel. If we can just kind of zoom in here, we've got Relay Brandy. Okay, that seems pretty tasty. Pink Marble Gin. All right, that actually, I think I'll skip that on the Pink Marble Gin. And I don't know what, I can't see the label on this one. I'll take some Relay Brandy. Why not? And of course, good old Blastos. Blastos is a staple of any nutritious breakfast. I really want a mug like this also, and I think they sold the Andromeda Initiative mugs at one point, but I can't find one like this anymore. If anyone knows where to get one, tweet me a link or something, because I totally want one of those. Okay, let's head on over to touch base with Avela.
Oh, you're here. Welcome to my favorite place in the galaxy. Pavoa, I'm glad they finally let you into the city. You deserve it. This is Aya's Cultural Museum and History Archive. It's small, but you've already made it brighter.
You said the helmet was touched by the Scourge. What does that mean?
I forget your people weren't around for that. When the Scourge appeared, it targeted remnant ships, broke down their technology. With the drive cores disabled...
The ships crashed.
But that may not be all. The Scourge leaves a mark on whatever it touches. If it touched this helmet, perhaps the pilot was the target. There may be remnant tech inside the helmet.
Or in the pilot.
Storms. I hadn't even thought of that.
This sounds so ridiculous because I played this game so much. I didn't realize that the helmet floats perfectly in the background of her, which seems ridiculous. But wait a second.
I'll come back when I have something.
Stars guide your travels.
I do have something. What the heck are you talking about?
Hello, Pathfinder. Any good news for me?
That's so weird. Yeah, I have the artifacts.
I picked up this figure earlier. It might be Angaran.
This is unfamiliar.
I just tweeted you a link for the mugs. Are they? Because I could have sworn that I couldn't find them when I looked. But that would be awesome. I want one of those mugs.
Interpretation, or is this what we really look like? The implications. Pathfinder, you may have discovered our earliest artifact yet.
Could it be a relic from another culture?
The technique and material matches other Angaran relics, and you found it in one of our worlds. But perhaps the depiction isn't an Angara. It could be a deity of some sort.
Is this Angaran? I found it on one of your homeworlds.
Sun above. It's an ancient Ravan, a musical instrument. It uses an Angara's body energy to produce music. We have them now, but nothing this beautiful. The songs it played were probably lost long ago. How much culture have we forgotten? Art, music, stories, it's all gone.
Does Ryder flirt with Avela or not? I think my canon playthrough, I kind of had the, it's not a full romance, but it's sort of like the little fling with Avela. I mean, main romance is still going to be Cora, but I'm like, does he show some appreciation in a way? I think I'm just going to apologize. Now's not really, she is lamenting the loss of her culture. Maybe now's not the time.
I can't imagine losing everything that way.
You left your culture behind. This isn't much different. In any case, relics like this help us.
Is it normal for someone as young as you to be in charge?
I'm no younger than you.
And you're a Pathfinder.
I kinda inherited the job.
So did I. I was apprenticed to the former curator. It was my job to bring him artifacts from other worlds. When he retired, I sort of fell into his position.
Do you miss relic hunting?
Some days, but mostly I'm happy to spend more time with each piece.
I'll come back when I have something.
Stars guide your travels.
All right, and so then PB should also be around here somewhere. There she is.
That figure really is something.
Avela thinks it's an ancient deity.
Something about it calls to me, like a friend.
Getting acquainted with our new neighbors?
Sort of. All this stuff. The Angara sure do have a rich culture and blah, blah, blah.
You're sauced, aren't you? What's your poison?
I visited that cafe the Angara consider a bar. Asked for their hardest stuff. It was weird, which I like, but had almost no punch. Lightweight. Whoa.
Steady now.
That stuff must have a slow absorption rate. Whoops. Oh, writer. It's just... This museum reminds me of being on Haitiana during my indentured service as a student. They even have a whole section on the Remnant. I didn't come to Andromeda to follow in someone else's footsteps.
Thanks, Essam, for dropping by. Hope you enjoyed the kid break, enjoyed dinner. PB, you are drunk in an Angaran museum. What is she saying? I didn't come to Andromeda to follow in someone else's footsteps. Oh, right, because they're beating her to the punch on Remnant research. Yeah, I mean, you can work on it together.
Don't worry, PB. The Angara barely have a foothold. Sure, they live among the ruins, but they haven't seen what we've already seen.
You might have a point there. Bet nobody here has ever outrun an ancient vault purification field, huh?
Nope.
Or spat in that Archon's ugly mug and lived to talk about it? That was nice work, by the way.
Thank you.
You're right. Not sure why, but ever since I packed up my apartment on the Nexus, something's crawled under my skin. But whatever it is, I promise, I'll get over it lickety-split.
Be sure you do. You're a handful, even sober.
You can handle me, Ryder, whenever you want. Think I'll stay in your operation a little while longer.
Such an interesting way to get to a loyalty quest. Not in a bad way. I mean, I do think it's better than just the one conversation and then bam, go on a mission. So I will say that. Let's see. I think the rest of the stuff, yeah, should be back out there. I thought there was maybe another fast travel point out here, but otherwise we're just going to take a nice leisurely stroll. Goddamn, look at those wood textures also. I can't remember if that's a mod. I don't think so. I know the ones on the Tempest I have a mod for, but I think these might be the vanilla wood textures. And if they look, for all of the drawbacks to Frostbite, and the development drawbacks have been, I think, pretty well spoken of at this point, but god damn if Frostbite is not good at lighting surfaces, especially hard surfaces. It looks really good. I see the PB Looks mod. Do you have a mod list up anywhere? I don't for this current build, but I can probably tweet it out at the Exalted Marsh on Twitter. Yeah, I'll probably try and tweet it out here after we're done, because this is a new one. This is even different than the one that I was streaming the last time. And it's actually, I think this load order might be smaller than the one that I had when I was streaming, and I kind of like it. It's pretty simplistic. I don't have every single thing modded. It's pretty lightweight. important question. Can you jump in Mass Effect? You can in Andromeda. But in the trilogy, Shepard was, not so vertically inclined. God, I really thought that there was a... Well, okay, we're already here, so let's talk to the ambassador about our cranky Solarian, and then we'll finish up the other quest she gave us.
Good to see you. Any news on what happened to Sorvis Len?
Do you know about the Vassal? The Angaran lottery that decides who gets to live on Aya?
I've heard of it. Why?
Angara are selling their slots to come here, so our people can stay in their place. Including a member of the Angaran resistance. He was killed on Vold. Wouldn't have happened if he'd been here.
No one told me of this arrangement. Well, we have to do something.
Okay. What are we gonna do? We're gonna make room back home. Okay, I don't know about that. We could pay instead, talk to the Angar. I mean, yeah, just basically talk to them and see what they want us to do.
Governor Shai is on our side. She'll know what to do.
You're right. We need to solve this problem together. Thank you, Pathfinder. I'll forward your proposal to Director 10 immediately.
Stupid Bioware not letting us jump. Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, we couldn't jump in Dragon Age either until Inquisition, which was a welcome addition. So apparently Frostbite is also much better at jumping. Although, I don't know. Flucus asks, how's my weekend going? My weekend's going good. It's been relaxed. It's been good. Been pretty uneventful so far, but it's been all right. All right.
That's all for now.
I'm here if you need anything.
Okay, I'm gonna save this because I really feel like this side quest that Enro has for us is kind of ridiculous. I think it's one of the dumb ones, but I can't remember.
Pathfinder, as you can imagine, your arrival raised concerns from Aya's people.
It'll take a long time to trust strangers again.
Which is why they want the Nexus to listen to them. We've set up terminals in the city so people can leave messages for your people on the Nexus. I'd appreciate if you take a look and forward their communications to your people.
Oh, that's right. It's that one. I mean, I'm not even going to necessarily worry about doing that right now, because that's really honestly quite boring. But let's finish convincing the other guy, and that way we can at least wrap up that one. I do wish Aya was bigger, but that's always an easy thing to wish for. It's weird, right? I think that a lot of spaces in Andromeda could be smaller. I think Vold could be smaller, or just, maybe they would have even been better off cutting Vold, or just cutting certain parts of it if they couldn't flesh it out more, but would have liked to see Aya be bigger. I wish the hinterlands was smaller. In a way, yeah, in a way. I will say, and this is something that I really want to talk about more at length, Kadara. The planet Kadara on Mass Effect Andromeda is really well done. And I'll actually even make this statement. I think that Kadara in Mass Effect Andromeda might be the best open world section that Bioware has done. It's actually been a while since I played Inquisition on my own and just really gone through everything to do it, so I might have to go back to double check, because I know there are some sections in the hinterlands or in Inquisition that are pretty good. But from a design standpoint, Kadara is laid out really nicely. Like, there's a main path when you're initially going through it. You can naturalistically pick up side quests. Your quest log gets full, but it doesn't get overloaded with just Kadara quests. They flow logically. There's interconnection between them. You do feel you are enticed by a little structure or a little village that's off in the distance that makes you want to go check it out. I think Kadara is actually really not a bad open world design. And I complain about BioWare not being able to do open world very well a lot, but I kind of forgot about how well Kadara is actually designed if you're not trying to juggle Kadara with Eladin and Vold. If you completely finish Vold, or just basically don't start it at all, just do the main part of the quest that you need to do there and leave, and you don't run to start Eladin right away and just focus on Kadara, it's a very nicely paced open world section. And so that actually is, that's one of those sections that I think is sized just right. But anyway, let's talk to this guy.
Ambassador Riala said you're thinking of moving to the Nexus.
Pathfinder. I'm honored even to be considered for the transfer, but I won't be happy as just an observer. I need to work. I engineer power systems. Will I be allowed employment alongside your people?
I mean, this is one where normally I would like to take the more conservative approach and say that's up to them, but like the Inquisition is basically shorthanded, so if this guy's useful, I mean, I can't imagine why he wouldn't be allowed to work. I mean, what are we going to do? Just basically have him as a guest? I mean, if he wants to work, may as well let him work.
That's the whole point of this exchange. The Nexus needs people like you.
That's all I needed to hear. I'll have your ambassador start the transfer. Thank you.
Okay, alright, so that quest is already marked done. I will tell you this also. I would have loved it if after activating the vault here, that the tornadoes and stuff, or some kind of difference was altered within the Vista. I wasn't looking directly at the chat, and so I misread. Alex just put in the chat, the Inquisitor is all right, and for some reason I read that as the Inquisitor is alt-right, and I was like, whoa! The chat just took a surprisingly weird political turn. Holy crap, make Thetis great again. Oh boy. Anyway, never mind. Don't listen to me. Oh man. It's political season. It's like a sport for me. I love watching it.
Director 10 is pleased with the Angara you sent to the Nexus. Thank you for your help. Pathfinder, what can I do for you?
I'm just glad, Ambassador Riala, that we got that stuff taken care of.
That's all for now.
I'm here if you need anything.
Okay. I actually think we did over 2 hours on this. And that actually kind of flew by. That didn't even really take very long once we left Anthem and moved over to Andromeda. I'm kind of sad we didn't get to do anything combat-wise, though, because the combat is so good. But then again, there will always be more time to do Andromeda streams in the future. If you all would like, because you never know. You never know. There maybe could be some more Andromeda streaming in the future. I've actually been getting into the multiplayer, which is also really weird. I tweeted out at Jack and Fusselcorn that we should do another Andromeda multiplayer stream. And obviously if Katie is down, we'll do that as well. But yeah, I know it's pretty late out there for some of you. It's getting late-ish over here on my end. I really greatly appreciate the fact that that you all have come out and joined me for this. It was a lot of fun. I totally, again, I kind of feel like I should apologize a little bit for abandoning Anthem. I know it's the 1-year anniversary. That was not planned. I really thought that I was gonna, maybe just be able to get into it a little bit more. But when it did that server kick thing, and then I realized that we were just having more fun talking, between myself and the chat room, that was just like a real light bulb moment for me. And I've had more fun just playing Andromeda and talking with you all about it. And now we've convinced Aaron to play Mass Effect, so it's a win-win. So that's just good. Solo streams, I always really enjoy doing them. It is very hard and to find time during the week, particularly starting with the new company. For the time being, it will probably still be hard for me to find time during the week to do solo streams, but I am really hoping that once I sort of, get myself established, that who knows, maybe Fridays or something like that, in the afternoon or the evening, I might be able to work out a more consistent pattern. That's one of my goals for the year, is to get more consistent on my solo streaming. So I really hope I'll be able to accomplish that. But otherwise, I don't know about tomorrow. I know that we will not be able to do a dual stream this weekend. That's why I'm doing the solo one today. Katie, I don't want to speak for her. I think she maybe kind of mentioned maybe doing something tomorrow, but I don't know if she's still available to do that. Otherwise, I hope that you all have a fantastic rest of your weekend. I hope you have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Everybody take care.